travel like between multi universes.
Wow.
And I know for a fact that really resonates with me, because when I was younger, in my early 20s, that was the only one time in my life that I've actually seen a UFO. And I don't know if you've seen any UFOs.
I haven't. Okay. I thought I did, but it was Starlink, and I looked really dumb posting that on my Instagram. Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I got a fun guest for you guys today. We're going to talk health, we're going to talk conspiracy theories, and we're going to talk making money. We got David Shinkel here. How's it going, man?
It's going great, Sean. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Dude, so we've made a lot of money together.
Yep.
We're starting a new venture, which we'll get into later, but I want to start off with ERC because that's how we sort of started making money, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you explain how that worked and how we did 9 figures, basically?
Yeah. So, last year, I brought this opportunity to you, and since then it's grown massively, and we had some massive partnerships. And I mean, I think the main thing is really helping out businesses. Mm-hmm. I've been doing sales for 12 years, and I've really been trying to find something where we can help businesses, and especially with ERC, the fact that it's putting money back in these business owners' pockets, it's been really helpful. But yeah, no, we just grew. We've brought in some really big partnerships, brought in a lot of big people, and they've brought in a lot of leads, and we built a really robust team, and the follow-up systems were really on point, and I think timing has a lot to do with it too. Mm-hmm. Positioning and timing. I know when I brought ERC to you, I think a lot of people hadn't really heard about ERC yet.
Yeah.
And then I think as you noticed, as we kind of started getting into it, within the first 4 weeks,
blew up.
Yeah, it blew up, and everybody's talking about it, and so positioning was really key. And then also bottom line, who we worked with, that was really good to have a partner that's been doing this sort of niche tax recovery sort of stuff for 15 years.
Yeah.
So, that helped out a lot. But also thanks to you and blasting this out to your network, it's really helped us grow a lot.
Yeah. So I'd say choosing the right partner, timing, and networking were like the biggest things that.
Right. Yeah. Choosing the right partner, timing, and having the right team. I'm more of a visionary person, and I really think that when it comes to building a team, you need to have, I think there's 3 major components. Is you have a visionary, someone that kind of knows the direction that it's going to go. You have a good tech guy that can build a really robust back end, and then you have to have someone that can do the operations.
Yeah.
And so I'm much more of a visionary kind of person. I'm not really good with tech and operations, so we brought some really good people in, and honestly, we would not have done over 100 million submitted if it weren't for having a great team. So especially even with this new venture that we're getting into, that's the biggest takeaway. Even the first business that I started back in 2016, I kind of had this ego with it about not wanting to bring in team members, right? Because you see the money and you don't want to lower your margins, but you realize that you can go a lot further, a lot faster as a team. So,
for sure.
Yeah,
it was a interesting experience for me because prior to ERC, I didn't really think affiliate marketing was a viable business. Mm-hmm. You hear a lot about affiliate marketing and how the margins are low, and you never really hear guys crushing it too hard with affiliate marketing. But when I got into ERC, it kind of shifted my perspective.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people in affiliate marketing, they just focus on the wrong products and offers.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's another thing. There's so many products and offers out there, and I'm sure you probably get brought a million offers a day, so it's hard to vet what is good and what isn't. But I think that's super key, is having the right product, having the right kind of chassis to move forward. I mean, ERC was a no-brainer, right? Mm-hmm. You don't charge anybody up front; it's all contingent afterwards. So I really like that model. Like I said, I've been doing sales for 12 years. I used to actually do door-to-door sales out here in Las Vegas, and that's a grind, So affiliate marketing is probably the cleanest, most seamless sort of sales, as long as it's built on a good product.
Absolutely. So now with ERC coming to an end soon, we're getting into health insurance. I'd love for you to talk about Champion Health and what the strategy there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Champion Health is a Section 125 product. What it does is it allows businesses to save about $600 per employee per year on their FICA taxes. As well as increasing their employees' net pay. And there's no out-of-pocket cost for the employee. There's no out-of-pocket cost for the company. So it's very similar to ERC, right? We're helping businesses. Every business struggles with pretty much two
Shout out to Rocket Money. Have you guys ever had a subscription you forgot about or double paid on a subscription? Look no further than Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that you can use to track and cancel unwanted subscriptions and monitor your spending. It also helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, you have full control over your subscriptions and a clear view of your expenses. You can see all your subscriptions in one place, and if you see something you don't want, they can help you cancel it with just a few taps. Your dashboard also shows you your monthly spending compared to last month, so you can track your spending habits and create a custom budget to help keep your spending on track. Rocket Money also negotiates lower bills for you by up to 20%. They help me get my phone bill down. All you gotta do is submit a picture of your bill and they take care of the rest. They'll deal with customer service for you. They have over 5 million users, have saved over $500 million in canceled subscriptions, and they save their members up to $740 a year on average when you use the app. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/DSH. That's rocketmoney.com/DSH.
Things, which is keeping employees and keeping employees happy, and then also trying to lower their bottom line. So this allows the company to do exactly that, save a bunch of money and also make their employees a lot happier and give them a bunch of benefits.
And is this a new offer? Because I know there's only 15 to 20,000 businesses that have it right now, right?
Yeah, so currently on Champion Health, there's about 170,000 lives total. Yeah, about 15,000 businesses. And what's unique about Champion Health, so Section 125 has actually been around since 1978, but back in 2015, the Affordable Care Act made it where employees can engage in medical activities, preventative medical activities, and they can receive a tax-free claim benefit. So Section 125 simply allows employees to take a pre-tax deduction, kind of like a 401k, and Section 125 has been around since 1978, but it's because of the change in 2015, now businesses or employees are able to receive this claim benefit. So they're basically taking a deduction, but then getting reimbursed that deduction by engaging in preventative medical care. So these employees are participating in an app once a month, and by them participating in that app, they're able to receive this tax-free claim benefit.
Interesting. And pretty much everyone watching this knows someone that owns a business with employees. What would the strategy be to refer someone to this?
So you would just reach out to either myself or you, and all we have to do is set up a presentation. So you just have to get a time and a date commitment from a business, and we just need 20 minutes to present them Champion Health. This is a licensed health product, so it's not something like ERC where you can really do like mass marketing, but you can bring your relationships if you happen to know like a CEO, for example, that you're friends with and you're sitting with them at dinner. It's more for like the high level sort of relationships.
Right. More if you have a network, not someone that like running ads or sending cold emails.
Correct. Yeah. This is much more of a relationship sale rather than a numbers and volume game, kind of like ERC was.
Yeah. I know you also do some interesting stuff on the side. You went in on Bitcoin miners, right?
Yeah. I've been pretty involved in the Bitcoin mining recently. My buddy's got a facility out in North Carolina, and North Carolina is, I believe right now it's like the third cheapest state in the entire country to be able to mine. So he's got some really good rates on mining, or really good rates on energy. And Bitcoin's, I've always believed in Bitcoin. I've been in crypto since 2017.
Yeah.
Been through, my first bull run in the beginning of 2018, and then another bull run in 2021 with the whole NFT wave. But I think Bitcoin mining is a great place to park some capital. You're actually, especially with mining, you own the asset. So you own the miner that can potentially appreciate an asset itself too, or go down. But yeah, the mining is fun.
Mining is fascinating to me because I know people that have gotten wrecked, and I know people that have made a ton off mining, and I think it's all discipline.
100%. I think you have to hold, you have to have your diamond hands.
Yeah, you can't be emotional because there's people down millions right now, but if they don't sell, Bitcoin might go back to what it was.
Yeah, if you actually look at a year-to-date chart on Bitcoin right now, it's up over 100% year-to-date. So,
wow.
Yeah, I think we started the year around 15, 16K in January.
But there's people that bought miners when it was 50, 60K, so they're down, but if they hold, they might make it back.
If they hold, and also if they've been, like DCAing during this bear run too.
What do you think crypto is going to come back?
I think so. I posted on my Twitter a few years ago that I think Bitcoin will eventually be 500K.
Wow.
I'm definitely bullish on Bitcoin long term. I mean, from the halving, at least we got the halving next year, and everybody talks about the halving, but to me it's basic economics, right? Supply and demand.
Yeah.
So you cut the supply in half, or you cut the rewards in half, and it's going to drive demand. Also, we have a lot of the BlackRock, and we've got all these ETFs being filed. So I think that's really positive for Bitcoin. But I don't know when, but I do know for a fact that Bitcoin will be over 100K eventually.
Dude, the more I study the dollar and the whole financial system, the less confident I get in it.
Man, yeah. So back in 2016, my first business was trading, Forex trading, and you start to really learn about central banks and fractional reserve banking. And essentially, the way fractional banking works is our banking systems right now are so messed up that if someone goes and deposits like $1,000 into a Chase bank account right now, Chase is only legally required to hold 10% of that in their reserves. So they can go lend out 90%. So they give that, someone deposits $1,000, they keep 10% in the bank. They go lend out that $900 to somebody that needs a loan. That person with the loan pays whoever they're trying to pay the $900. That person that received the $900 puts that $900 in their bank account. Yeah, and then the bank only has to keep 10% of that, and then they can lend out whatever is left over. So yeah, it's a pretty messed up system. If everybody tried to take their money out of the bank right now, there wouldn't be
enough.
Yeah,
wow, I wonder why that's allowed. That's so weird. Like that doesn't even make sense.
I mean, yeah, you can go really deep down the rabbit hole. I mean, you go back to the central banks, you go back to the Rothschilds and the people that actually control these entities, and you see that they are on, they fund both sides of wars. They have their hands in pretty every major emerging market in the world, and yeah, it goes pretty deep. These guys have a lot of power.
Yeah, we've had some fun talks on conspiracy theories.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The thing I like about you is you'll change your opinion with new evidence.
Right, 100%.
Because like we were talking years ago, you had some different opinions, but you've changed them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a big one. The biggest thing, we could talk a little bit about the whole the flat Earth stuff. I definitely at one point was like, wow, it doesn't make any sense. Everything is flat. It started to go down the rabbit hole with that. But I don't know. The more you look into it, I can't really say. Until I pass away and learn
find out.
Find out myself what it is. But it's. Yeah, I think NASA and the whole space thing is kind of crazy. I definitely know at least the moon, we have not been on the moon 100%.
Really?
I guarantee we have not been on the moon. I believe that it was, the whole space race with Russia. And
are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? Well, click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys.
If you really look in the footage, if you look at actual footage of the moon landing, you just look at some of the materials used in the crafts, and it's like almost like tinfoil, and you're like, how did this travel through space like that?
Right.
And it doesn't make any sense.
The one that made me laugh was apparently they called the White House from the moon.
Yeah, that's that's another thing is they called the landlines. I mean, people think that Stanley Kubrick, is kind of behind it and kind of set up the whole show, basically filmed it. And when you really look at it, you could see like lights and reflections of the set. And
I wonder if they'll ever debunk it or prove it did happen one day. Because as of now, it's just he said, she said.
Yeah, well, they just recently did the disclosure of the aliens. And
I saw that.
Yeah, the whole.
But that wasn't even like a set thing. They just said UFOs.
Yeah, and that's so crazy. I don't know what to think about that, because like what they show the public, you almost think they have maybe a hidden agenda.
Oh, for sure.
And I think you have to do your own research for that. So I've done some pretty extensive research on extraterrestrial life, and there's this guy, his name is Dr. Stephen Greer.
Yeah.
And he's actually created a foundation that looks into extraterrestrial life, and he also has a project called Project Disclosure, where he interviews former people that were in the military.
Yeah.
And and basically protects them and allows them to fully share all of their information.
Wow.
And there's some pretty crazy stuff that he says, and that when he interviews these guys.
So they're anonymous, or
no? They're fully. They have their name, and so you could actually go and look them up. Yeah,
Dang.
yeah. And there's this guy named Richard Doughty who talks about he was in the military, and he talks about how when the whole Roswell, the New Mexico situation with the aliens, that there were actually a couple crafts that they found that weren't related to Roswell, and they actually recovered an actual body. And there's different classifications of aliens, and this alien is like an Eben, like in the Ebens are like the grays, like what you would consider like a typical alien that you see in like cartoons with like the
I've
heads
heard of
and the
grays,
big eyes. Yeah. And so they actually recovered one, and the body was mangled, and they recovered the crafts, and they couldn't figure out how to work the crafts, and they actually recovered this device that was about the size of like a dictionary or like a small computer, and they found out that this device was kind of the control system for almost like the battery for the ship. And they found out that the Eben they actually were able to communicate with this extraterrestrial that they recovered, and they actually found out that the way they controlled these ships was by consciousness.
wow.
So Dr. Stephen Greer, he talks about, there's the speed of sound, and then there's the speed of light, and then there's something called the speed of consciousness. And these extraterrestrials, they basically essentially put their hands on, and they're able to channel their consciousness to actually, travel like between multi universes.
Wow.
And I know for a fact that really resonates with me, because when I was younger, in my early 20s, that was the only one time in my life that I've actually seen a UFO. And I don't know if you've seen any UFOs.
I haven't.
Okay.
I thought I did, but it was Starlink, and I looked really dumb posting that on my Instagram.
No, so I saw one, and I was with two friends, and essentially it looked like a shooting star, but it just stopped in the middle of in the middle of the sky, and then immediately changed directions. And actually, Stephen Greer and some of the people that he's interviewed, they talk about this technology, and essentially, it's if we were to experience something like that, the G-force from hitting it like smash us, flatten us like a pancake. So it's definitely like some alternate universe sort of technology.
No, there's 100% UFOs. Even my friend Nathan drove to Canada, and he passed like Area 51 or whatever. Is that what it's called? Or 15?
Yeah, Area 51.
51, yeah. I always, because there's an Area 15 here, I get it mixed up. But he passed Area 51 and literally recorded UFOs.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
It's right there in broad daylight.
Wow. This guy's, you should really look into this guy, Stephen Greer, because he does these meditations called CE5 meditations. And basically, he can channel, like, get aliens to come, like, while they're doing this meditation. And there's multiple eyewitnesses, multiple testimonies of, usually they'll come in like a triangle. So like three aliens and their spacecrafts will come, and it's really wild if you look into it.
Wow. So there's basically multiple universes all using the same Earth then.
Yeah, I mean that's something where I can't really speak a lot on it because I don't know, but from what I've looked into, I do think that aliens are very familiar, that there's multiple species of aliens, and there's multiple universes, and that they are very aware of us. My sort of thesis with all of that is that these higher level creatures are much more conscious, and so they, people always ask, are aliens going to destroy us? Aliens going to take over the world? I don't think that would ever happen, because these aliens are like so conscious. They kind of think it's funny that humans and that Earth, we all like fight each other essentially, and create our own issues, and it's so dumb if you actually think about it. So these guys like think it's really dumb, and I think they genuinely have like world peace, and like they're just so conscious that they don't have to fight because they're
they're on another level.
Yeah, they're on another level. Yeah.
I know you're pretty spiritual too. You've taken some psychedelics. You got any crazy psychedelic stories?
Yeah, I don't do psychedelics as much as I used to. I do a little bit of microdosing now and then, but when I was younger, in my early 20s, definitely did a lot of experimenting with psychedelics, a lot of mushrooms, a lot of acid, and the The craziest trip I've ever had is the craziest trip I ever had, I took 10 grams of mushrooms, 5 hits of acid,
Holy crap.
and 2.5 mollies.
What the hell?
They're called root beers, like some sort of MDMA, something crazy.
All at the same time?
All at the same time, yeah. Me and my best friend at the time, I actually had 20 grams of mushrooms, 10 hits of acid, and 5 hits of these root beers. And I asked him, we had actually just finished doing a little light shroom trip at his apartment that night, and we were kind of coming down, and I just looked at him and I said, hey, do you want to go up to the top of Mount Lemon, which where I'm from, it's this mountain you can drive to in 45 minutes and just take all of the psychedelics that I have. And he was like, yeah, I'm down. So it was like sunrise, and we drive to the top of this mountain, and we were sitting in my car. We literally just took it all right there, all at one time. And yeah, it was a magical experience, man. We walked out. I think the first thing that happened was, as soon as we got out of my car, there was a guy standing in front of our car, but he was dressed in like robes, almost kind of like a shaman almost. And he was like wishing us a good trip. It was very, very weird. We didn't know if like it was setting in, because the acid kind of can set in pretty quickly.
Yeah. Wait, was he real or no?
We don't know. But what I do know, when it started getting trippy, we started walking down the trail, and then all of a sudden we see this girl and this guy up on the trail, like waving to us, and like basically like waving and giving us the motion to come over to them. And so we go over to them. It's this guy, it's this girl. I can never remember the guy's name, but the girl's name I'll never forget. Her name was Georgia, because it's a very unique name.
Yeah.
And essentially they were dressed as like backpackers and kind of like hippies. And they had a tent set up, and they were cooking up breakfast in their little stove. And funny enough, what they were cooking, they had the little stove, and they were cooking, I kid you not, an actual like mushroom cap, like
Wow.
not like a psychedelic mushroom, but like a portobello mushroom in butter. And so that was kind of like the cue that I knew that we were like tripping. The mushrooms are talking to us,
Right.
and that none of this was real. And so me and my friends start to the effects of the psychedelics start really hitting us, and we obviously tell these people like what we just took, because you can't really be around other people.
He was seeing this too?
Yeah, my friend was with me. We were both experiencing and talking to these people, and
Wow.
we went through everything that you can imagine. And I had a whole ego death. He had a whole ego death. I mean, we were crying with them and like hugging them. And at one point, like I genuinely was tripping so hard that I thought that the guy was God, and that the girl Georgia was like Mary. And I was like just having like these really heart-to-heart conversations with them. And I was definitely at a troubled point in my life, trying to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with my life and what direction I wanted to go. And that honestly, I definitely have flashbacks to that specific trip at least once a month.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's insane.
it's very profound. That psychedelics absolutely shifted my entire consciousness and the way I think. Absolutely.
For the better?
For the better. Yeah. I will say I don't recommend people going as deep as I went, because at that time I did think the way my mindset had shifted, it was a little too intense, and I kind of like was wanting to be reset, like wish I hadn't done any of that. But that subsided after, a couple of months, and then you kind of have the long-term effects of just how it opens up your third eye and your consciousness. And it's like the saying, when you see it, it can't be unseen sort of thing. So
interesting. Now, what does an ego death feel like? I've never experienced that.
I thought that I had genuinely been reborn. Like I genuinely had this moment where I like zoomed out on top of myself, and I could see this little campsite that we were in, and I felt that I had been reborn into the world, and I thought that the world money didn't exist. And I was literally like walking back to my car, and I'm like, I'm gonna go start traveling the world. And I'm getting goosebumps saying this because I was 20 years old at the time. This was before I ever traveled the world. And then a year later, I moved to Australia, lived there for 6 months. Went to China, went to Thailand, lived in Thailand for a few months. And, that I built a lot of relationships, and that opened up my whole perspective to the whole world. And, and that's another thing is in the U.S., a lot of people in the U.S. have really never been outside the U.S.
Yeah.
Like my parents, they've never been outside America. I don't think they've ever even been to Mexico or Canada.
Dang.
Yeah, and they have no desire to either, which I respect everybody and they're what they want. But this world is so big, and it's I think it's kind of crazy when people just live in their world and get all of their information from the news or watching TV. I think it's very big that people go out and experience the world for themselves.
Absolutely, dude. Traveling changed my life for sure, because you don't know what's out there until you go.
What's been your favorite place that you've traveled to?
Oh, I really like New Zealand, bro.
New Zealand. I've been to New Zealand too.
That's a sleeper.
Yeah, for sure. Did you go to the Auckland?
Auckland,
okay,
bro.
Yeah.
Bro, the seafood there, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Did you go to the Needle, the space tower?
Yeah, I did all that stuff, bro.
Yep.
But the nature, the people, it was just a great place.
Did you get a chance to go to Hobbiton?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's where they filmed The Hobbit.
Oh, really?
And you can actually go to where the Hobbit holes and where they actually filmed it, and they do a little tour and everything.
Dude. And I'll also say Thailand, too, was pretty sick.
Thailand, hands down, is my favorite place. And specifically, anybody listening to this should go visit Koh Samui. Koh Samui is the most slept-on hidden gem. Everybody goes to like Koh Phangan or Phuket or Phi Phi Islands, and absolutely Koh Samui and Chiang Mai, the northern part. If you really want to get like that temple city vibes of Thailand, Chiang Mai is amazing. But if you want that more tropical, like beachy, super clean, clear waters, everything's great energy, pure bliss. Like how I would define like bliss and ecstasy is living on this island, honestly.
I love that. Yeah, I only did Bangkok. I want to check those out. But dude, I was spending $10-20 a week on amazing food.
Yeah, Bangkok is huge. Bangkok's huge. The traffic there is crazy, but the food, you can live like a king out there.
Dude, $1 a day and you're eating like a king.
It gets you so far.
It's nuts. But yeah, I try to leave the country at least twice a year, and I try to leave the state like 5-10 times a year.
Nice.
It's just a game changer, dude, because you meet great people, you get new perspectives, you come back reinvigorated.
100%. For me too, the way my body is, the way my personality is as a person, I get very complacent when I'm in one place for too long. So like coming out here and seeing you, it creates a lot of momentum, and traveling around, visiting people. I love like being on the move. I really thrive in a chaotic environment. I have ADHD, and people always think I take caffeine. I don't take any caffeine, no coffee whatsoever. I'm just naturally wired. So
dude, it's crazy growing up how much they shamed people for having ADHD, but now all my successful friends have it, and it's like a power. Man,
it's crazy. I grew up with I got diagnosed, and it's almost seen as a bad thing almost.
For sure.
And my sister, she was also diagnosed with ADD, and we were both on meds, for a while. And when I was in high school, I actually didn't like taking the medicine. And so my parents would give me the pill, and I would pretend to take it, and then I'd like hide it under my bed or in my room. And one time my parents were cleaning my room, and they found like hundreds of pills, and they were pissed, but I was really happy that they actually ended up giving me the choice. They were like, well, if you're going to take them, like, we're not going to waste money on these pills, so you can just go off the meds. And so I got off the meds, and I think the guy that created, I don't know if it's ADHD or ADD, but I've heard that on his deathbed, he talked about, maybe not his deathbed, but some part of his later stage in his life, he talked about how ADD and ADHD, whichever one it is, that isn't like basically real. Like
you serious?
He made it up essentially. Yeah.
Wow.
Like or that it's not as bad as it. Obviously it's something different. You can definitely have attention deficit disorder, but you don't need necessarily medicine. There's other holistic ways, and a lot of these things are like psychosomatic diseases that you can get fixed. I mean, meditation is the biggest thing. I think
sure.
Nobody really goes introspective. I don't know if I've told you, but I think I have. But in 2021. Right before 2020, right before hit, I did a 10-day silent meditation retreat.
Oh, you told me.
Yeah. And that was absolutely life-changing. I had a friend that had been doing them for 6 years, and he had been telling me to go. I never went. I mean, that's an intense thing. 10 days. You don't talk. You turn in your phone. So you're really like living monk mode for 10 days. But that really changed my perspective on life. Right before I went to that, I had just bought a car, and I was really torn over the car because I didn't get the car that I wanted. And I was so torn that I almost flew back because there was some stuff going on with the financing of the car. And my friend said, just forget about that. Just trust me. Just visit this or just do this with me.
Yeah.
And I came out of that. All my material possessions, I used to really like designer and all sorts of create and just blow money on stupid stuff. never since that meditation retreat have I ever blown stupid money like that.
Wow.
It really put things into perspective about like what's important in life. And yeah, meditation is key. Nobody really goes inside.
So it's 10 days, you're in a community and you can't talk to anyone, right?
Yeah, so it's actually, what's crazy is it's free. It's called Vipassana, and the website is dhamma.org, and you can go on there, and they have centers all over the world. So I went to the one in Onalaska, Washington. So you fly into SeaTac, and it's maybe an hour, 2 hours out of SeaTac, and that's the one we went to, but they have ones in Joshua Tree. They have them in Thailand. I was actually going to go to one in Thailand last year when I was going to go. But they have them all over, and they're all free. So you sign up, and they give you a window that you have to go and confirm your date. And yeah, you go, and it's about 60. The one I went to was 60 guys, 60 girls, and they call it day 0 when you get there. And you're allowed to obviously talk. They give you the rooms that you're going to stay in. They assign you a roommate essentially, and then you talk with that roommate right there of like, are you going to do them? Am I going to shower in the morning? You going to shower in the morning, and you figure out the coordination because you're not going to be able to talk at all.
So how do you do that?
Well, so we decided before, like he would do, the morning.
Oh, so you could talk before.
Before. But then, yeah, you turn in your phones, and then you walk into the meditation hall for the first time, and that's when they start the silence.
Got it.
You aren't even supposed to look at other people or even hold the door open for other people.
Wow.
You're literally supposed to pretend that it is just you and just completely you. And they have the guys and the girls separated.
Damn. Were you freaking out?
I was definitely freaking out the first couple of days, as your mind has to slow down. So they don't actually even teach you the technique. This whole Vipassana is a technique. It's not like you go and you just go for 10 days and then go back into the real world. You're going to learn the meditation technique, and then you integrate that meditation technique into your life.
Got it.
And you're supposed to actually do Vipassana 60 minutes in the morning and 60 minutes at evening.
Damn.
Yeah, and if you do that, they have an app, a Vipassana app, and if you do that for a full year, they will allow you to do a 30-day sit.
Whoa.
30-day, and then if you do, and they have more thresholds if you are consistent on your practice, they'll let you do like a 6-month sit where you don't talk. Yeah,
that's too long, dude.
Yeah.
I'm cool with like a week.
Yeah, a week was...
Even a week's a lot. Have you seen those darkness ones where you're in pitch black for 5 days?
Yeah, I want to try that. I've seen that. The sensory... we did the float tanks, actually.
Yeah, so it's like that, but like 5 days in like a dark cave or something.
That's wild.
I don't know if I could do that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because you would definitely hallucinate.
Absolutely.
When you're in the dark like that?
I mean, even when you're think about like when you're like in your bed sometimes and your mind is racing, like you'll just see, like you'll just have
Dude, I'm glad you said that because I'd be seeing weird at night sometimes. Like faces that I'd never seen before, like weird stuff. Yeah, I thought that was just me.
No, yeah, I'll if my mind is running, I get this really creative boost at night. Like around midnight, I just want to create. It's very, very weird.
Yeah, you're a night owl.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. But I'm also an early riser. It's very weird.
Wow.
I wake up at like 6:30
so you got the best of both, man. There's people that they've studied that they only need like 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I got a buddy that does very well doing that. I'm big on the health, biohacking, health is wealth sort of vibe, and I do think 8 hours of sleep is good for your body, good for your brain. It really like resets. If you're gonna do like 4 or 5 hours, I think you should at least do like once a week where you get a good reset.
What's some biohacking that you do that you've had drastic results from?
For me, it's been all diet. So I eat all organic. All of the meat I eat is grass-fed, grass-finished. A lot of the dairy that I consume, as long as I can find, if I can't get raw, then I'll drink like A2. Whole Foods has A2 milk.
Is that raw?
It's as close as you can get to raw. It's pretty much raw.
So why is raw so much better than just...
Because it's unpasteurized. So there's this stigma back in the day. So what happened was people were getting sick off of raw milk because they weren't taking care of the milk, and it just wasn't basically, it's all about money at the end of the day. So they realize that if they pasteurize milk, it can last longer, and
Right.
it's just all about the money at the end of the day.
So as long as you get it fresh from a local guy that's clean.
Yeah. Lots of like Amish farms are really good, and they'll literally tell you like on the bottle that you get, they'll have the name of like the cow that it
Oh, wow.
got milked from, and yeah,
That's dope.
yeah. So,
I'll try it. I see people doing it. I don't know where to buy it. Isn't it like illegal in some states?
yeah, so you have to buy it as a lot. It's sold as pet food essentially. So sometimes you have to actually go to pet stores to get it.
Wow. That's so weird.
Yeah, it is. But I would recommend online places.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'll try it out.
Yeah.
Anything with like peptides or seed oils?
I personally haven't started the peptides. I have a couple friends. I just turned 30 this year.
Yeah.
I got a bad shoulder, so I am thinking about looking into peptides and the exosomes. My buddy was telling me about the exosomes and how it can be really beneficial for cancer patients because are you familiar with exosomes?
I've heard of it, but I'm not like, I don't know what they do or anything.
So exosomes, you can basically program the cells to like the medicine to go to certain cells.
Wow.
So like with cancer, when they do chemo, chemo is attacking the bad cells and the good cells.
Right.
So they can use exosomes that can only target the cancer cells.
Wow, that's revolutionary for all disease then.
Absolutely.
Is that like a live thing or is it in trials?
It's kind of like peptides. It's kind of a gray area.
Gray market. Yeah, I saw Cali ban peptides.
Yeah. I know everybody's going to like Puerto Rico, or I know Colombia's really big. Joe Rogan's talked about.
Yeah, Mexico. Yeah, for stem cells too. But with the seed oil stuff, which seed oils are you avoiding?
That's a great question. I avoid all the major oil, all like the major oils that you see. So canola oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, basically if it is not avocado oil or coconut oil or extra virgin olive oil, I won't use it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty much every restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah. When I go to restaurants, and if you remember when we were in Denver, remember we went to breakfast, and we asked them if they had oil or
cook it in butter.
Yeah, to cook it in butter instead. Yeah. So that's a big alternative, and
even the guy said people have been asking this a lot lately. So I think people are doing that.
Yeah, the seed oil wave. I mean,
yeah.
It's all because of the glyphosate. So they spray these crops with Roundup glyphosate, and it's essentially rat poison or it's rodent killer, and it's
a carcinogen.
Yeah,
too.
it's a carcinogen, and it permeates into these seeds, and then they make all these oils out of it, and it gets inside of your stomach, and it destroys your gut.
Yeah,
and
dude, I'm at the point now when I do eat seed oils because I gave them up too. When I go to like Chinatown and have a cheat day, I feel it all day.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that and carbs too. I've been cutting out carbs a lot recently because carbs really drain me, and less carbs, more the gluten. There's this really good book called Grain Brain, and he gives this analogy in the book about when you eat gluten, it's like taking a fine watch and pouring pancake batter over it, and it's still trying to work. Like that's what it does to your brain. So it creates a lot of brain fog. And if you really look into gluten and bread, with the exception of a couple breads, like sourdough isn't too bad if it's depending on where it comes from. But a lot of bread has absolutely no nutritional value whatsoever. It's just a filler. Yeah.
Wow. So you're just eating it for
it's just a filler just because it tastes sandwiches. Like pizzas, all that stuff.
I used to love pizzas.
Yeah, I still like pizza. I'll dabble once a while in a pizza, but never like Pizza Hut or Domino's or anything. It'd have to be like a nice like Italian pizza.
Yeah, I grew up on Domino's, but no, never again.
Yeah,
those were the days though. Those 2 for $20s or whatever.
Oh yeah, the stuffed crust.
Yeah. Oh man, David, it's been fun. Anything you want to close off with?
No, I appreciate you having me on. I think I'm good.
Awesome. Thanks for watching, guys, as always, and I'll see you tomorrow.